A group of young women in New York donated to the Holtman Defense Fund in a 19th Street beer garden. Hundreds of collections were taken throughout the Yorkville section, also known as Little Germany, 1935. A couple enjoys a beer at the Park Tavern in Penge, London. Due to its strange shape, it was locally referred to as the Coffin. The pub closed in 1960. Customers relax with a few drinks at the Jolly Gardens pub on Union Street in London. The city boasts more than 3,500 pub options. Our team did our best to make this video interesting for you guys. We'd appreciate your likes and subscribe. Enjoy! A big crowd gathers to watch a boxing match at House of Shields, a San Francisco bar. Bars became a popular spot to watch sports back in the 1930s. While smoking a massive cigar inside is no longer a tradition in plenty of bars nowadays, there were kind and social bartenders back then, and they definitely still are now. Men sit in a canteen at Fort Q, Montana. The city is a former army post. Some of the men at the canteen can be seen wearing military uniforms. 1890. Patrons enjoy a drink at a French bar in New York. New York is home to some of the country's oldest bars, including the Ear Inn, established in 1817. It's believed that bars in Paris have been around since the early 1600s. This portrait of a man at the bar in Paris showcased the ornate style and architecture in France. A man in a fine leather jacket and cowboy hat holds a revolver as he argues with a fellow gambler in a barroom, dispute seen during the Klondike Gold Rush in Alaska, early 1900s. Workmen play games and drink beer by the candlelight at a pub during a strike by Leeds municipal workers, 1913. Men are toasting and drinking in a Chicago bar in the 1940s. Chicago retro bar and lounge scene has been frequented by blues legends and notorious clientele alike. Men are toasting and drinking in a Chicago bar in the 1940s. Chicago retro bar and lounge scene has been frequented by blues legends and notorious clientele alike. Customers at the bar of one of the numerous pubs in the Gorbals area of Glasgow. The city in the United Kingdom is known for unique craft beer spots and cocktail bars. 1948. During the Prohibition era, the soda fountain and ice cream barrels filled a void for patrons since bars were shut down. Once bars reopened, the appeal for these replacements diminished. Men and women socialize at a classic bar, now referred to as the retro style. Many of these bars are still around today as vintage, old-time diners, circa 1950s. Bartenders at a bar in Lagos, Nigeria. As one of Nigeria's major cities, Lagos is home to an action-packed range of bars, restaurants, and clubs. Gospel Hour at Mr. Henry's Bar in Washington District. Today, the Capitol Hill hotspot continues the musical traditions with jazz on Wednesdays showcase on Saturdays, and more. Bar patrons enjoy a cafe of wine Hungary. Today, ruined bars are a popular cornerstone in Budapest. The trend took off in the early 2000s, when formerly abandoned buildings were refurbished as watering hotels. A man and woman speak while seated at Joe Bo's Tavern in rural New Athens, Illinois. Taverns started losing popularity a bit in the late 1970s. While bars can serve liquor, taverns can only serve beer, wine, cider, and food. A bartender taps a pint of beer at a lamp, a pub in Bloomsbury, London. The traditional bar is still a popular spot that serves cask and craft beer, full-bodied wine, seasonal and nostalgic pub food. A woman poses with man at a bar in the Poletown neighborhood of Detroit. Named after Polish immigrants who lived in the area, a portion of Poletown became the General Motors plant. Steve Brody's Bar and Taverns was downtown establishment way back in the 19th century, with a location of Hastings and Green Street in Manhattan. If you thought you were trailblazing when you went to the cool outdoor beer garden, people have been assembling cool places to drink for a good long while now. This pub looks like a great place to hang in the city of London, a few years before the turn of the 20th century. It wouldn't be terrible if bowler hats came back in fashion, either especially paired with these huge mustaches. Sure, this is a fictional story at the time, but it's still interesting to see how they would stage a bar in a play almost 100 years ago now. This lady was apparently crowd of Miss Bronx sometime in the early 20th century, and also pictured here as a cocktail innovator from Bronx, Joe Cermony. This party was at the bar of the Bronx Concourse Plaza Hotel. Legendary jazz guitarist Lonnie Johnson, right, is performing a show at a crowded South Side Chicago bar. Johnson was also a violinist and has the distinction of being the first musician known to play an electrically amplified violin.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next video.